The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract.
2 years ago, one guy made a video saying MrBeast would burn everything down to protect his image, that the second things went south, Jimmy would sacrifice whoever he had to and save the brand. And the internet absolutely buried him for it. He became the most hated YouTuber on the platform. Multiple creators came out against him. MrBeast himself responded. And still, this guy never said a word back. Never deleted the video, never apologized for a single sentence of it. And then everything he predicted came true. His name is SunnyV2, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what he got right and why MrBeast has spent the last 2 years proving him correct over and over again without ever meaning to.
An even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution should things go south might be for Chris to resign himself.
Because I think most people who were online for this never actually watched the video they were screaming about, April 2023. And what Sunny argued and what everyone said he argued turned out to be two completely different things. The video is called How Will the Chris Tyson Situation Impact MrBeast? It has 10 million views. And what it actually is a brand analysis, a PR read. Sunny spent the bulk of that video laying out a case that MrBeast had been put in an impossible position. Not by Chris, by the situation around Chris, by the way the internet was reacting, by the fact that whatever Jimmy did next, a massive chunk of his audience was going to come for him. And the part that matters, the part Sunny actually predicted, is right at the end of the video.
No way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy's fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way, could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution should things go south might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable.
That's the line. That's the one everybody's going to remember by the end of this video. Keep it in your head. Now the response was immediate, and it was overwhelming. Sunny got labeled transphobic, multiple creators made videos against him, and within a short window he had somehow become the single most hated person on the platform. The comment sections were wild. People were saying things like, this guy profits off other people's pain, this guy has an agenda, this is disgusting behavior, and then MrBeast himself responded. And honestly, at that moment, most people watching thought that was it. Sunny had been publicly shut down by the biggest YouTuber on the planet. The guy was done. The video was cooked. Time to move on. Except Sunny never responded, never deleted anything, never put out an apology, just nothing. Which at the time read as arrogance, or stubbornness, or someone who didn't care that the whole internet thought he was wrong. And I think about that now, and I wonder if he just knew he wasn't wrong. Staying quiet while the entire internet is screaming at you is genuinely one of the hardest things to do. Every instinct says defend yourself, put out a video, at least tweet something. And when you don't, when you just let the noise run, people read it one of two ways. Either you're too scared to face it, or you don't have anything to apologize for. Sunny chose neither explanation. He just didn't engage. And the community moved on, the way it always does. Because something else always comes along. And his video sat there, 10 million views. Still up, unchanged, like he was just waiting. In July 2024, serious allegations surfaced involving a MrBeast member and minors. And what happened next is the whole video. Because the way MrBeast handled it, the choices he made, the statements he released, the moves he ran, is the exact playbook Sunny described, to the letter.
A nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious.
And the thing that's genuinely kind of crazy to me is what happened in the comment sections. Not just the people who'd always defended Sunny, the people who had been part of the pile-on. You started seeing this sentiment everywhere, and it was the same sentence every time. That's the community's own words, not mine, not Sunny's. The same community that called him the most hated man on YouTube was now saying, actually, he was right. And that's the only thing that matters here, because we're not the ones deciding whether Sunny called it. The people who cancelled him are. He spoke about brand dynamics and public image management. He said MrBeast was in a lose-lose. He said the only clean solution was for Chris to step away. And then, 15 months later, Chris stepped away. So MrBeast put out a statement, July 24th, 2024, and it said all the right things: disgusted, unacceptable, immediate action, independent investigation. He said he'd seen enough and removed Ava from the company, the channel, any association with MrBeast. Quick, clean, decisive. The move was fast, and honestly, it was probably the right call under any read of the situation. But then he went further. He hired a law firm, Quinn Emanuel, one of the most powerful litigation firms in the country. He commissioned a full internal investigation into his own company. 3 months, 39 interviews, over 4.5 million documents. And in November 2024, the results came back. The firm found that the most serious allegations, the ones involving minors, were without basis. It also found enough workplace misconduct to fire somewhere between 5 and 10 employees. So, cleared on the worst of it, house cleaning on the rest. And the community's reaction to that was immediate, and it was the same thing everywhere. The people you paid found you innocent. And that's not me calling the investigation a fix. I have no idea what happened inside that company. But when the firm you're paying reviews your own documents and hands you a clean bill on the worst of it, the optics are a problem no matter how legitimate the process was. It doesn't matter how real it is. The perception that you commissioned your own exoneration, that's a brand problem, a massive one. And Sunny said exactly this would happen. He said if things went south, the brand damage would be unavoidable regardless of what Jimmy did. He didn't need to know what was coming. He just understood how image management works when you're the biggest YouTuber on the planet. If that was the only data point, if it was just the investigation, you could argue it was a one-off, a bad situation handled imperfectly. Reasonable people might disagree, but it wasn't a one-off because MrBeast has spent the last 2 years adding receipts. June 2025. Jimmy launches an AI thumbnail generator through his analytics company, ViewStats. $80 a month, and the pitch is that it copies the style of any channel on YouTube and spits out a thumbnail. The backlash was instant. The loudest voice was Jacksepticeye, because the tool had used his channel and his logo as reference material without asking. Copyright, hypocrisy, the guy whose thumbnails used to get ripped off now selling a machine that does it at scale. 5 days later, the tool was gone. Jimmy put out a video saying he'd missed the mark, and quietly replaced it with a page pointing creators toward real human thumbnail artists. Now on its own, that's just a bad launch. Happens. What's interesting is the speed. The moment it got heat, it was over. No defense. No doubling down. Just gone.
To help small creators make better thumbnails, and I thought people were going to be pretty excited about it, but I definitely missed the mark.
August 2025. MrBeast and Mark Rober launched Team Water, a charity to raise $40 million for clean water access. Real charity, real cause, all the money goes to WaterAid. That part is not the story. The story is the stream, because MrBeast ran a live fundraising event on Kick where he called up creators live, on camera in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, and asked them to donate. And then kept asking, and then asked again. And nearly a year later, in April 2026, Jinxie went back and talked about what that experience was actually like.
The most, uncomfortable, weird streams of all time, bro, was basically just MrBeast pressuring people into donating to Team Water, which is a great cause. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, chat. If Team Water raises, whatever, like $100 million, who gets the credit for it, bro? Who's gonna
MrBeast responded to that, and his response was, I don't feel bad for asking multimillionaires publicly to help people drinking dirt water. Which, I mean, that's a fair point, but it's also a perfect example of what Sunny was describing, because the issue isn't whether the cause is good. The cause is great. The issue is that when you're the biggest creator on earth, the optics of how you move matter enormously. And every time a rebuttal comes out, it sounds less like an explanation and more like a deflection. That's the pattern. Rebuttal as deflection over and over. And then there's Lunchly, his food product with KSI and Logan Paul, which attracted its own wave of health and nutrition criticism in 2024. And he deflected that too. Same playbook, different product. At some point, the pattern becomes the story. And none of this necessarily makes MrBeast a bad person. The Team Water money went exactly where it was supposed to. The investigation he commissioned really did review 4.5 million documents. That's not nothing. And his response to the Ava situation was fast by any reasonable standard. But there is a version of Jimmy Donaldson that every aspiring creator grew up wanting to be. The guy who built the biggest channel on the planet from his bedroom, who gave away cars and houses and millions of dollars, who made it look like success could just be genuine and good and enormous at the same time. And that version of Jimmy feels further away now than it used to. Not because of any single controversy, but because of the accumulation. Because every time something goes wrong, the machine kicks in. The statement drops. The investigation clears the company. The tool gets quietly pulled. The deflection lands. And it all happens very fast and very cleanly. And that's actually the problem, because the faster and cleaner it gets, the more it looks like a machine that was built for exactly this. And here's the smallest one. Honestly, the one that stuck with me the most. That tweet from 2023, the one where he stood up for Chris and called him his friend and told everyone to back off. It's gone. At some point, he just deleted it. No announcement, no reason. I'm not going to tell you what that means because I don't actually know. But the tweet where MrBeast defended his friend the loudest is the one that doesn't exist anymore. And I keep coming back to SunnyV2 because he didn't win anything here. He didn't do some follow-up video saying, "I told you so." He didn't collect on this. He said one thing, one deeply unpopular thing about how MrBeast protects his image. And then he waited, and the internet came around, not because he campaigned for it, because the receipts came in. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then, rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. He posted that in April 2023, and every month since then, MrBeast has put out another piece of evidence that Sunny understood something the rest of us didn't want to see. You don't have to agree with everything Sunny's ever said, I don't. But on this specific call, on the read that MrBeast would prioritize the brand above everything else, he was right. And he was right in a way the community confirmed for him. Not me. Them. So I'll leave it with you, and I actually want to know, so drop it in the comments. Is this just MrBeast being smart about business, or has something real changed in who Jimmy Donaldson is as a creator? Because those are two very different answers, and I'm honestly not sure which one's worse. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.